can I have another wine?
You're listening to the Giggle Gang podcast.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
If you want it, just come get it.
A Giggle Gang podcast.
Just be myself.
For fuck's sake.
You know, sometimes people pay me to say ridiculous shit, and sometimes I just say it for free.
Jesus Christ.
You're listening to the Giggle Gang podcast.
They're not racist.
But you're from, like, Burnley area.
No. So Wally's not actually that close, and it thinks it's quite posh.
Okay.
But
so
it's
you
not.
were brought up by posh racists?
No.
All right.
I'm no racist.
Really?
No racist.
Your skin is so white, though. You're
It
so
is,
elitist.
but I'm part Greek.
You're part Greek?
Yeah.
Does that mean that you eat feta cheese and technically can't be racist?
Yes. No, I'm just not a dickhead, so I'm not racist.
Really? Are all racist dickheads, do you think?
I think, I don't know, I think a lot of racists are ill-educated.
Okay.
I think, I don't know, because I can't even be in the head of someone who is racist because I'm not. I've never even considered being racist.
Really?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Not even when you were younger?
No. I think even when I was younger, I don't know, I was even less...
Racist than you are now?
Yeah. That's not what I meant to say. Do you know what? I was worried about coming on this podcast and saying something to offend someone. And do you know what? You started off beautifully.
We're only a minute and 6 seconds in.
You've already asked if I'm racist. I'm not a racist. No. I think...
That's exactly what a racist would say.
Stop it! You're making me well nervous.
The phrase that I usually hear most racists say is something to the effect of, I'm not being racist, but...
Okay, but I had no buts in there until now.
Okay.
So, there you go, I'm not a racist.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Northwest's biggest racist, Maisy Whipp.
No, oh my god, don't quote that. Jeez, I've never had a comedy review and I don't want that to be the first one.
How have you never had a review? Is it because you don't do a lot of comedy?
I don't know.
You're not even really a comedian, are you? Just a person.
Yeah.
Well, we don't talk about comedy on this podcast.
Okay.
It's the one thing we don't talk about.
I mean, you brought it up, so...
You brought it up saying comedy review, all right? Let's not get into technicalities here, right? You can't beat me at my own game here. I'm in a very combative mood today,
I feel
Maisy.
like it, yeah.
Let's talk about fun things. Was your childhood a good time?
Yes.
Okay.
No, yeah, I had a cracking childhood, which, again, I'm going to bring it up again, I'm sorry, is a bit like, why am I doing comedy then? Because a lot of people say that they talk about the worst things in their life in their comedy. Mm-hmm. And so when I first started doing it, I was like, no, they don't. Then I realised I was. So that was fun.
What do you mean? So what were the worst things in your life?
I don't know if you remember my original set.
To be honest, I don't.
No, it was
something about sandwiches.
About being a vegetarian.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah? So a big thing is I came on and went, I'm a vegetarian. Now... I never mentioned it in that set.
Are you really a vegetarian?
Yeah, I have been for about 8 years.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Oh, no, yeah. The reason I'm a vegetarian, sorry to bring it right down again, is because my dad had cancer 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was better for his recovery if we stopped eating meat and stuff.
Okay.
So I did it to make sure that he did it. Because it's easy to cook for 2 people, isn't it?
Yep. That's fine.
I mean, 8 years later, he's still here. So I'd like to think it did contribute.
You actually love meat. But you gave it up for the good of the family.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is so honourable and so middle class.
I'm also not middle class either.
What are you?
Working class.
Oh, right.
Yeah, massively.
It's a giant fear of people's to be middle class, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know how people make the jump from working to middle class, right? Because... I love how we don't call it lower class as well. There's upper, middle, and then we say, we can't say lower.
We're working.
Implying that the middle and upper don't go to work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it's always a fear as soon as a working class person gets to, let's say, the bit where they're about to jump to middle class. They never want to do it because you never want to be seen as middle class.
No, I'm aware that I'm privileged.
Okay.
No, but
Let's
we all
dive into
are,
this
aren't
more.
we? In that sense, like in the sense that I've gone to uni and I've always had food on the table and a roof over my head. I'm not ignorant to the fact that I am, but I'm still working class. Like, still, like, I don't even know if it's in government terms. I think I am just classed as working class because of...
Does the government come up with a class system? I don't think it does.
Well, I don't know.
This is the problem with having children in here to interview, right? I don't actually
Children?
know. I don't actually know.
Almost 23.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
How old did you think I was?
Exactly that age.
Well, I'm still not a child.
So let's talk about the family situation, right? So you've got a sister, I know that.
Yes.
Do you have another one or just one?
Just the one.
Okay, and no brother.
No.
No brother, just you and your sister.
Yeah.
Right. And was it a case of like, were you always in competition with your sister? Are you the competitive type, or did you used to work together quite a lot?
No, not really. I don't think. I think because there's such a gap.
Okay.
In age, there's 8 years difference there.
Is she younger?
We were definitely both on purpose.
Okay. Really?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't on purpose at all. And then.
Are you the second or the first?
I'm the first.
Okay.
Yeah, and then 8 years later, my little sister came along.
Okay.
But yeah, we were never sort of in competition because we just.
So are you saying that your parents didn't want to have children at all and ended up with two?
We just weren't planned, yeah.
Okay.
Like, my mum was living in London at the time and working at, like, Harrods.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, it's very nice, isn't it? And my
what was
dad,
she doing at Harrods?
She was working on the women's clothing section.
Ooh,
yeah,
my favourite.
Exactly. And my dad was a DJ
That's
and
cool.
doing like an apprenticeship type thing.
At Harrods?
No, he was up here.
Okay.
And like went down every weekend to DJ and stuff and see my mum and that sort of thing. So
That's
they were together.
Hot. Like, she's like working on women's wear. She's like, my boyfriend's coming down this weekend. And I can imagine she's got like a Sony Walkman and she's like popping his tunes. It's like, he just dropped another fat single. And all the girls in Harrods like, oh my god, babe, he's so hot. And your dad just comes down and it's like swinging big dick energy. It's like, and then your mum's like up in the desk with him, and they're like behind there, and he's like, you can press play, babe. And she's like, press play, and he's just like, oos.
I mean, he was strictly records at that point,
Oh,
and
right.
scratching and all that sort of thing.
So your dad was a boring DJ.
No, that's the best kind of DJ. A boring DJ presses play.
I know. No,
He
but
was
those
like
are the
scratching and like mixing.
you're getting it all wrong, right?
Okay.
An exciting
Probably.
DJ,
Yeah.
right, is the one that doesn't DJ.
Okay.
The exciting DJ is the one that gets up with a bottle of champagne and sprays the crowd and has like the bloody foam guns and like, it's like, everybody clap your hands and like whatever.
I'll be
like-
honest, I've never been to, like, I don't go out.
Right.
So, like,
Yeah,
exciting
same.
DJs aren't really my thing.
But those
You
are
know way
exciting.
too much about exciting DJs to say you don't go out. I don't know about these things. I don't drink either.
I don't go out anymore. Oh my god, I didn't drink either. I'm thinking of becoming a Muslim. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
I don't know. It's
Why
just
not?
because, right? Let's talk about DJs for a sec. You're getting me off track. Don't ask me about
I'll
my
just deflect onto you so you don't ask me if I'm a racist again.
I can't be racist, I'm Muslim.
Oh, Jesus. That's how it works.
No, it's a wonderful religion. Look into it. It's,
I've heard.
It's fantastic. I'm gonna have a guy on that's like a speaker that knows his shit, and we're gonna talk some shit. But
Good to have someone that knows their shit.
Absolutely, exciting DJs, like smoke guns,
Yeah.
everything. Cool DJs, scratching, mixing, like layering tunes on top, and you barely see them. You don't even know what they look like because all you hear is the music, and they're just there. Those are cool DJs.
Yeah, well, he was one of them.
I'm glad we got.
I'm glad we got to that.
I'm
Yeah.
glad we got that out. Mum.
But yeah, she got pregnant and came up here. So 23 years later,
Wow.
here we are. She's literally, as well, fun fact, last weekend, I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, proposed to him as well.
Oh my goodness! Have only just got married.
Well, they're not married yet, but yeah, they're engaged.
They
now.
need to take a leaf out of mine and Hazel's book. All right, proposal comes early doors, right? Are you serious?
Yeah.
So hang on. What's the point in proposing now? Is she feeling like she's not financially
Well, it
secure
comes
and
up
he
to
is?
25 years in October, I think.
Okay.
So it's a nice sort of time to do it. I don't know.
Was there not like pressure from like their families being like, why have you not got married and all this jazz?
Not really. I think maybe early on, but I mean, I don't remember that. So
Interesting. So hang on, so they were together for 2 years, had an accident baby, which is you,
Yes.
right? And then you were the glue that sort of kept them together, right?
Yeah.
They loved you so much. She moved from the south up to here. They
got a
sort of-
mortgage, got a real job.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
literally, right? My dad quit his job on the Friday. They moved into the house on the Saturday. I was
Okay.
born on the Sunday, and he had his new job on the Monday.
Jesus.
Got it all done in a weekend. So in that sense, they got shit done. But
Effective. So your dad's surname is Whipp, that's not a stage name?
no, it's a real name.
Oh.
Is that disappointing?
Yeah, a little bit. I think that's so cool. So is your dad's name David Whipp?
Simon Whipp.
Simon
Where have you got
Whipp.
David from?
I don't know. I just like the name
Do
David
something
Whipp.
religious.
David the Whip.
No, his name's
Can I
Simon.
imagine him being Irish? David the Whip.
No, I mean, that wasn't Irish for a start. He's just... He's just northern.
It's just northern.
Yeah.
I
think there's Irish heritage somewhere.
Hi, it's Simon Whipp.
Sorry, what was that one meant to be?
That was Korean.
I mean, closer than Irish. Jeez. Irish. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm completely lost.
It's fine. I was with someone on Friday actually whilst I was filming, and he was Irish.
Yeah.
So I kept trying to take on that accent as well. And like every 2 seconds, I was like going like this to Irish, and he's like, "Can I have 33 of those?" And I'm not even that good at it, but I just keep doing them anyway. Honestly, accents, I do them all the time. I bloody love it. I might not be good at them, but I'll still do it.
So, when are you going to start doing my accent? Because I hope it comes soon.
I mean,
Can you have a go at it now? Like, just for
have
like,
a go at it? So I talk. I mean,
just answer the next question. Just like continue, but just
do it.
like just blend into it. Like if you
Okay.
feel yourself going, just lean into it.
Okay.
And I'll try and do your accent. And eventually, it should
Okay.
sound like the people at home don't know who's talking.
all right, we'll try that. Go for it. If it's a really sentimental question, I'm like, yeah, good eye, cunts. Here's a bit more chat about my dad's cancer. Like,
My dad's name's Simon Whipp. He doesn't eat meat
Just
anymore. He's
Simon
not
Whipp.
happy about it. That was amazing, guys. Right. So,
go for it.
right. Let's talk about what was the point in you going to university to study comedy.
Oof, all right. So the first thing I wanted to do was actually do musical theatre.
Okay.
I went to college to do that, and I did it for like 2 years, and I played Mama in Chicago, which was like amazing. And then I tried to get into drama school like down south. I tried to go to like London. I can't do it. If I say London, I go into a Cockney accent. And
You sound like Ursula Carlson. You know that.
Who?
She's a South African comedian.
Oh, okay, great.
Who
I'm
lives
going to go
in-
back
who
to mine
lives in
because I
New
can't do
Zealand.
it for that long. So I tried to do musical theatre.
Yeah.
Because I bloody loved it.
Yeah.
And so like basically, have you ever auditioned for a drama school, or do you know someone that has? Do you know how it works?
Nah.
Okay, so for a couple of particular ones down south, you pay 50 quid to go on audition. You go down to London to
Okay.
the university or the drama school. You walk into a room. This particular one, you sit with 20 people, right?
So they've already cleared how much? 50 quid times 20. What's that? Is
A
that
lot.
$2,000?
Yeah. So like for that one audition, and I was
Okay.
in there for less than an hour. And basically, each person stands up and sings a song for this woman sat at the front, and who does not look up at you once.
Okay.
Then she asks you all what your dance experience was, which for everyone else was, oh, I've been doing tap, modern and ballet since I was 3. And I was like, I've done a bit of street dance. And then so you sing a
I've done
song.
a bit of street dance.
I did like street and break dancing for a little
Oh,
bit.
I thought you just meant like you just stood on the street and was singing in the worm.
No, I just meant I hadn't done it since I was 3 and I hadn't done all these fancy ones. Anyway, so if you do have kids and you want them to get into musical theatre, make sure they're doing dance from the age of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
No
so
one
yeah,
wants their kids to get into musical theatre. You know that.
I
don't
do.
you?
I absolutely do.
Really?
It's triple threat. Singing, acting and dancing.
Yeah, but like full-time job musical theatre.
Yeah. Hard work, but worth it.
I think
do
I'd
love
prefer my kids to be engineers and doctors.
it. Well paid. Tell them to go into TV instead. I don't know.
My parents don't want me to do this. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah. Always have a backup. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did that, auditioned, and then went home. So literally sang that song, went home. The next day, got an email to say I hadn't got in. And they don't give you feedback because there's about 3,000 people apply for 20 places on this course
Oh
a
my
year.
God.
And I was
And
a
you've
bit
got to
like...
pay 50 quid to get in. So
Yeah.
that's just to try and slow the numbers down, basically.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
But most people still audition. I mean, I think this is a really weird fact to know, but Godmother auditioned for drama school 8 times before he got in.
Interesting.
But he did eventually. But that's what most people do. So my teacher called the next day and she was like... I was the only person who, when I sang, I was the only person who managed to get the woman who was, like, auditioning us to look up once.
Okay.
And I thought, to me, that was a bit of a good sign. And I thought it'd gone quite well. So my teacher called the next day. She was like, I can't believe, she can't really believe, can I get some sort of feedback, basically? And the woman on the reception just said, to be honest, if it was her first time auditioning, they probably didn't even look at her. And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
This is not for me. Like, do you know, like to be that pitted against everyone in that room just wasn't of any interest to me.
Yeah.
So I did the natural thing after that.
But that's what working in entertainment is, though. Like, even comedians that are like, I'm going to go into acting, and then they have to go to auditions. Like, big-time comedians sitting in auditions with, like, actors, like, proper actors that nobody's ever heard of, but these cunts can act. And then they sit there, and they just have to, like, sit in a room like this and be like, what have you got? Okay, thank you so much, bye.
It's a crazy industry, and, like...
It's ridiculous.
Getting into it is just... I mean, it's grim. It really is. But if you are that interested in it, it's worth it, I think, in the end. So, like, I mean, naturally after that, I did a makeup course for a year, which was, like, media makeup. So it was everything from drag makeup to body art and stuff like that.
So you could do me up as a drag queen when I had my drag debut?
Yeah, probably.
Cool.
I then started a business painting pregnant ladies' bellies for a year.
Okay.
A natural progression from musical theatre.
Oh, absolutely. So hang on. Were you painting these women's bellies for photo opportunities, or?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. But sometimes they just wanted their bellies
They just
painted.
sort of, like, sometimes they got a photographer in, and sometimes they just took pictures on their phone and then washed it off, which was kind of painful when you've sat there for an hour painting it.
So how much were you charging? What was the pricing structure?
So for face painting in general, it goes up the more experienced you are. But for me at the time, it was around 20 an hour.
Okay.
Which is decent, really, for
But you've also got to show, you've got to get yourself to them as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is it. It depends how long it takes me to get there, and if I need to travel, and it's seen like big. Like if I have to travel a lot, then I put an extra charge on there and stuff like that, and it all works out in the end. But also I didn't particularly enjoy doing it. Like I'm not that a big a fan of face painting because it's a weird amount of pressure.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather stand on a stage for 5 minutes and not get laughed at than do a bad face paint on a kid who's going to have an angry parent or be upset or whatever. It's a lot of pressure.
Oh my God.
Like I painted a baby on someone and...
Hang on, you were painting babies on their bellies?
Yeah, so one of them, I had a really cute design where she was getting really sick of the pregnancy, so I painted that on, and I painted them holding a letter saying eviction notice. And it was dead cute. But she looked at it then and was like, oh, I really feel in touch with them now. Like I can see them, like I know they exist now. And I was like, please don't put that kind of pressure on me. Just so you know, your babies aren't going to come out looking like that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it was a lot of, I'd then sort of given her this
How
idea.
realistic was the baby that you drew?
I mean, I can show you.
Yeah,
but it's not.
I feel like I have to say, because I love pregnant women's bellies. Like, even when I was probably like 8 years old, every time I would see a pregnant woman, because I grew up in the church, and there'd be a lot of expectant mothers coming through the church, I would either like go up and like put my ear onto it. So it's not that realistic. It definitely is a cartoon baby.
Yeah.
But there's 2 babies on this one, which is interesting.
This was twins. Yeah.
This was twins. Okay.
But yeah, this is what I mean. Like, I know they're not realistic looking, but to her that was like, oh, they're real. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been pregnant myself, so I couldn't actually relate to it. But
did it make you want to have a baby more or less?
Oh, I'm very maternal anyway. Like
Okay.
I am. But I also don't want to bring kids into this world at the moment, or really ever. So, I'm just a naturally maternal person. I always have been. I think having a little sister so much younger than me, that was sort of, I think they used to call me like Nanny Maisy or something, because I just love looking after her. All my cousins now are, the oldest one's 4. So there's twins that are 4, and there's my little cousin who's 4. So there's a massive gap there. So I'm more like an auntie than I am a cousin to any of them. Yeah. And I just love, looking after them and stuff. I mean, mainly because they're into the same stuff I am. Like, I could put Disney on for them and be like happy for an hour myself. Yeah. Which I think, it helps. But even in situations like being the chair of the Comedy Society, it's more like a motherly thing in a way for me. Yeah. As much as I love running it and being sort of in charge, I just can't help myself being in charge of situations. It is kind of a motherly thing as well. Yeah. I'm insanely proud of a lot of the people in that society that do stuff, and like whenever I'm like, tell us about it, we'll share it, we'll let people know. That's so cool. And things like that, like even on my course, I think we have to have student reps on our course, so like you have to go and tell the tutors what's happening, if there's any like problems or anything. Mm-hmm. And when they said, oh, who wants to be the student rep on the course, and everyone just went, Maisy will do it. And it wasn't even one person, it was like most of the people in there. And I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah. I guess I'm doing it now. And that's something that's always happened throughout my life. It translates into the parts that I play in shows and everything as well. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Mama before, literally called Mama. I always play old people. I always play old people. The show I've just done, I was a 60-odd-year-old. The show before that, I was 108 years old. What? Like, I don't know what it is. I'm just quite good at playing old people, apparently. Or the motherly figure, or like even just a bit of a bitch of an old person. Okay. The only issue I have with that, though, is that throughout education, I have always played an old person, right? When you get into the real world, there's real old people to play old people. So I could have an amazing CV for acting, but they're all old people. Yeah. So I've never actually played my age. Yeah. So I asked my teacher my playing age recently, because I had to put an acting CV together, and he was like, 22 to... And I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm 22, about to be 23, to 30. And I was like, okay. I mean, I'm glad that I can play that high, but I thought I might be able to play a little bit lower. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It just sort of attests to the fact that I am just a more mature-ish person. Yeah. And I can play mothers, apparently.
I love the fact that you played someone that's 108 years old.
Yeah. It was Grandma Adams in the Addams Family musical. Okay. Which was a lot of fun. I had to talk like this for the whole show. And I had to crouch and had a big arse piece put in. Because apparently she farted all the time. They put sound effects on constantly for me, and I was like, okay. So yeah, that was fun. But that was, to be fair, so that sort of brings me back to where the story was at, is I did Painted Bellies for a year, realised in that time I did an amateur production of the Addams Family musical where I was Grandma Adams, and fell back in love with performing. Okay. And I was like, I've got to get back into this somehow. I miss it. Because it really did shit on me when I didn't get into drama school, because as far as I was concerned, that was the natural progression for performing in musical theatre. Yeah. Because I think when I get my head into something, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So to not be doing that and have no idea what to do next was like, okay.
Was there other drama schools that you could have auditioned for, or was this like the be-all and end-all?
So I had this idea in my head that I would move to London, go to drama school, be in the West End. Okay. That was like the progression in my head.
Playing old people, or...?
No, just in musical theatre. Okay. But the fact I couldn't dance kind of put a little marker against me there, for one. Also the fact that a lot of drama schools are training the leads. They want, your Alphabas, I can't even name some lead actors now, but like your leading ladies or whatever. And whether I've meant to or not, I've always been the comedy aspect of something. Yeah. And which I've not minded, because they're usually the best part, because they're the comic relief of the show. You know, they're funny, but they're a big character and they're a big part of it. Which was what Grandma was, which was what Mama was, which was what Pepper is in Annie, which I played as well, and etc. So I wasn't mad about it, but it was eye-opening for me that it wasn't going to be that easy, I think. Because, I mean, in those situations, you very much are going from a big fish in a little pond to a little fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
Which is a hard one for me, because growing up in a rural place where there isn't a lot of that to, like...
What, musical theatre?
Yeah, musical theatre in a sense. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of amateur musical theatre.
Right.
And there is the big fish within those. But if they were then to go and audition for drama school down south, it'd be very different.
Yeah.
Like, they wouldn't be the same there. And I think that's hard for some people to grasp. And it was for me. But yeah, so when I did that, I tried to... When I realised I wanted to go back into performing, I tried looking around for, like, what there was up here, because I didn't particularly want to move away as much anymore, and I sort of had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder about, you know, down south.
Like you hated it, or?
No, I still love London. I still love being down there.
You love London?
I love it. I have
what are the
family
things
down
you
there.
love about London?
Well, my
List them to
family
me.
down there. One of my biggest things is feeling like I'm missing out.
Okay.
So knowing that more people are awake at that time down there, like, because I'm quite a late night person.
Okay.
And no one else is a lot of the time. A lot of my friends are all early sleepers and early risers.
Yeah.
And I'm like a late sleeper, late riser type person. Mainly because I'm in the industry that I'm in.
Yeah.
And that's where most stuff is. But also because I feel like I'm missing out all the time, so I can't sleep, and I'm like, I could be, you know, doing something now, but also I have no inclination to go and do that.
Yeah.
So I like that it's... I love its public transport. It's just another thing.
You should write a fucking TripAdvisor review, being like, top 10 things I love about London: sleeping patterns and public transport.
I just love how easy it is to get around. Like, I could be on the other side of London within 40 minutes. Here, I don't know how long it would take me. Like, if I'm at home, buses are every hour to wherever. And here, it's a little bit better, but down south, like, they're every 2 minutes to the other side of London. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's...
I do, but I don't. So I don't like the fact of how spread out London is. So what I like is that within 40 minutes from my house, I can walk to the far, far side of the northern quarter, like Frog and Bucket, and all the action happens within walking distance. So I don't have to get on public transport and have to go anywhere. All the fun and excitement happens within walking distance. Unless it's like pouring with rain or I've got like heavy stuff I need to carry, I can always walk home at the end of the night. Now that I'm not drinking or anything, but like before, there was never any need to drive. And it's also based on where I live. Like, I live quite close to the city as well. But I like that Manchester is small, but there's a lot going on within a small area.
Yeah. But again, a lot of it does shut at 8 o'clock. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know after 8, sort of, this industry gets going.
Yeah.
But before, like, up until that point, I don't know, unless I always imagine it must be quite lonely if you're not part of an industry similar to this, or you don't like going out to things like this as much, because most stuff does shut after tea time. And especially, like, the closer you go to my house, like, just home, the more rural you get, the less is open after.
The only place to go is the pub.
Yeah, and my family's never really been into that. I think that's probably why we're so close as a family, is we just spend a lot of time together.
Yeah. Did you play board games when I growing up?
Yeah.
What did you, like, what else did you used to do?
I don't even know. We watch a lot of films together.
Okay.
We cook a lot together.
Okay.
We have a lot of family, so we have a lot of our time revolves around food, and if it's someone's birthday, we all just go to my nana's house and bring a dish each and have a nice night of, like, playing board games and watching films and chatting and just having a nice evening.
Yeah.
And I think that, I love that, and I think that's why I think I would have hated moving down to London and being so far from my family.
Yeah.
Having spent so much time with them all the time. Like, if we go on a family holiday now, there's 20 of us in a cottage in Wales. Like, that's a family holiday for me. That's a holiday for me.
Yeah.
Whereas, to some people that's hell, to spend that much time with your family like that close quarters.
See, that's the one thing I didn't realise I missed about my family until they were so far away.
Yeah.
And like now we've started to do it. So like most weekends, we didn't do it last night because Ben Hart cancelled because he's a cock. But we'll have like someone, a comedian, a friend of someone in the house, whether it's Sean, because I live with Sean Pachkovsky now, Hazel as well. So either it's her friends, my friends, well, mine and Sean's friends are basically the same people.
Yeah.
But we'll just come around and we'll just play games. We'll play poker. We'll play like whatever, and just sit. And sometimes we'll drink, and sometimes we won't. And it's just like nice to hang out. And it's like that thing that I used to hate. Like Mum would be like, "Oh, we're having a games night tonight, and you know the neighbours are coming over." I'd be like, "I don't want to be a part of this shit. Like I'm going to go to my room, or I'm going to go out. Like I'm going to go away. I'm going to be associated with you people." But now I'm just getting to the point where it's like I yearn for it. I can't wait to be back. And my mum keeps fucking posting board games, which must cost an absolute fucking buck to send board games from Australia here. And I'm like, "Mum, we've got shops. Like we can do. We can."
I'm not bringing them all back. Like
I don't know what to do with them because the more she fucking sends, like. I'm just going to have to sell them to people over here. But yeah, we've got...
This is it, like me and my friends will, is that because none of us particularly drink either, so if I go over to one of their houses for a weekend, we'll literally just sit and play board games or watch some films or shit films or whatever and eat. And like that is what I love doing. I would rather do that than go out on a night out and not be able to hear anyone all night. And like if I have to go out, I don't mind sitting in a pub for a few hours and chatting and that side of things, but I don't see the appeal of it, like going out and partying.
I like going out with heavy drinkers, right? But as a non-drinker, all right, now I've only been a non-drinker this year, right? But what I've found is boring to go out with people that just like drink socially and take it easy, right? Because they're just like you, but they're drinking, so they're having like maybe like an inch more fun than you, but it's still like pretty boring. Like they've still got all their inhibitions, they've still got their self-respect, like they're making good decisions, right? If you go out with heavy drinkers, people that just cannot control themselves, right? It's fucking funny, right? You're just there, and if as long as you can take yourself away from like, I love these people, but their actions are not my responsibility, then it's really funny, right? Hazel has a hard time with this, and you probably will as well. I'm seeing a lot of Hazel's mannerisms in you, right? When people get too pissed, she's like, she feels like she has to look after them. And I was like, you didn't force the drinks down their throat. Like, do you know what I mean? These people have made their own decision. It's your responsibility to make sure they get home okay. Send them a text and say, did you get home okay? But you don't have to pay for the Uber. You don't have to pay for their train. Like, this is their life. These are their decisions, and that's very fun. It's just watching people get fucked up and then just leaving.
See, this is it. I can't do it. I could not do that to someone. Like again, it goes to this whole maternity.
They've done it to themselves. You're just a witness.
Yeah, but I think again, I guilt myself into this thinking of they knew I was there and they knew I was sober. So did they do that? And know I was going to look after them.
Yeah, you've got to say from the outset.
I have such a guilty conscience constantly.
No, it's not a guilty conscience. You have compassion. You have that again, that nurturing, motherly, maternal nature. Yeah. Like how old were you when you like thought, I'm gonna have children?
Oh, I think. I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint you a point where I said I thought that in my head.
Okay. It's always just been assumed.
It's always just something like from a very young age, I was a Disney on my ass. Like I was massively into the whole princess thing of, you know, getting married, finding true love and having kids and living happily ever after, and that would be it. But now I'm sort of at the point where I'm like, no, fuck that. Yeah. Like, I can have a life. I can, you know, do all these things I never expected to even think about doing.
Interesting.
And it's, like, it's not that I don't want to have kids, but it's also I've seen so many situations where, I know that it can be such a shit world. Mm-hmm. And I think growing up and not having the best sort of,
you did mention before that you were privileged.
Yeah, no, but in the sense of, again, roof over my head and food on the table sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, I'm aware that I had that.
She did rock up in a Jaguar though, so.
It was an Uber. But I think when I was in primary school and stuff and high school, I never really had a very close set of friends until I left high school, or even I left college. I think I had friends like throughout that, and I have a lot of close friends, but like often they were years above me, so I didn't actually get to hang around with them that much. So I would hate to put a kid, or for a kid to go through school or high school and feel the same things that I did. Do you know what I mean? Like in the sense of, okay, so I recently did a show on this. In that I was constantly looking for this fairy godmother that I'd been brought up thinking was there. Whether that be through, I was quite a religious child, so whether that be through God, whether that be through the actual fairy godmother.
Are we talking Christianity or Catholicism or?
I was a Christian for a lot of my childhood because I went to a very Christian school.
Church every Sunday though, or just Christian school?
No, like just Christian school.
Cool.
The family wasn't massively religious. And I loved this idea of God, like, and religion. I think I mostly love singing every day because that's just something I love doing. But again, it was great to think that he was there and he would sort things out. And then, I looked for the fairy godmother. I believed in Father Christmas. I believed in the Tooth Fairy. All this sort of thing. And then
up until like an inappropriate age, or up until like the normal age.
See,
like if you're 15 and still believing in the Tooth Fairy, that might be a concern.
Now I got to age 10, which is like the last year of primary school. My sister was 2-ish, and she got very ill. And it was at that point I sort of went, why isn't anyone fixing that? I think. And that's where I lost a lot of my religion. I stopped believing in a lot of things because they weren't there helping me in this time where everyone had told me they would. And it was awful. Like I just had this sort of, again, I'd had a very good childhood and nothing like this had happened before. So I don't think I knew how to react. Like I just didn't tell anyone. I was living with my auntie for a few months. My parents were living in hospital with my sister because she was comatose. And I didn't tell anyone.
You didn't tell anyone at school? Or
no,
just anyone
didn't even tell my best friends at the time.
Really?
Because I didn't think it was my place to, and I didn't understand it, I don't think.
Interesting.
I felt this extreme guilt that she was ill, and these people that I thought were going to help weren't.
But you didn't ask them to help?
I probably prayed at the time.
Sorry, so you're saying these people being your friends or God didn't?
No, these people being God and the fairy godmother and these people that I thought were going to just fix it all. Because that's what I've been brought up believing. Whether I'd been told that or not, that's how I'd sort of put it in my head.
To play on the advocacy on the other side, your sister, alive and well and healthy now. Could you not say then that God did come in and heal your sister? You were praying for her and she did become healed.
You could argue that. You could.
I'm not arguing it.
Someone could argue
because if your sister had died, then I could see, horrible thing to think about. But let's get realistic, right? So the fact that your sister survived, just because God didn't do it straight away. I mean, God's got a lot of stuff on. He's a busy guy.
No, but I think at that point, in that particular minute, or those particular months, I was like, why has this happened?
That was enough for you to...
Because up until that point, I had nothing really bad happen. So I thought they'd been keeping things nice. And then it just fucked shit up. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is weird. And I don't know. Someone could argue that they did eventually help. But again, you could argue that was the doctors and nurses, and it's...
But the doctors and nurses got their intelligence from God. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I know. This is all the things that could be argued. And it's an interesting subject. It really is. But this was where my head at. This is where I've sort of brought it to now. Is I think that's what my thinking was as a child. Is why aren't these people that I've been taught to believe in that would make my life better, why aren't they doing that now? So I think that's, as a child, in a child's mind, that's where I lost my faith.
I want it all, I want it now.
That's where I lost, my belief in these things. I still bloody love Disney, and I'm still aware that I still think there might be something up there. But I won't say that it's God. I won't say that I'm religious. Because I just can't believe in it
Yeah.
that much. I mean, it was the same. Like a few years later, so when I was 15, my dad got cancer, like I've mentioned, which was insane to me. He's like the best person I know. He'd stopped smoking 10 years before. He'd stopped drinking. He was just an amazing person. He really is. And he got cancer. And to me, that was like, what? That fucking crazy. So again, it's sort of, I questioned all these things again. I was looking for this fairy godmother again, I think. You know, metaphorically, I was trying to push it on someone else to sort of make my life better.
Yeah.
And they just weren't there. And it's a weird thing because I think I've always been brought up to find a fairy godmother in something or someone.
Okay.
In a way.
So you're saying that the idea of a fairy godmother, the idea of a god, the idea of a higher power, something that you can give problems over to, are you saying that you use that as sort of a scapegoat for you and a way for you to not have to take on, say, the full pressure of either consequences, pain, suffering, or anything? Because you can, and what I find a lot, I'm speaking like I fucking know shit. But what I do see a lot is a lot of people will take an issue that they have, and like the top 5 issues that we're talking about is things like obesity, drinking, gambling, sex out of marriage or adultery and whatever, and just like dishonoring your parents and whatever. The teachings that the Bible tells you not to do, if you think about everyone is having a struggle in society today, one of those 5 things is usually going to be the root of whatever vice they have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's drugs, it's drinking, it's whatever else. It's eating too much, it's drinking, it's fucking whatever. It's shagging too many people. So if you can give those problems away, if you can be like, oh, well, it's not my fault, I do this because of that. Do you know what I mean? It's not my fault that I drink too much because, you know, I can't go outside.
Well, this is it. I couldn't do anything in those situations.
Yeah,
So I definitely tried to pass it off to something else.
Absolutely.
Like, why isn't something else helping the situation that I can't help, that I can't do anything in?
Yeah.
Very much so, yeah. I think, I mean, this is why I don't have anything against religion, is because some people need it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I respect that, I think.
So I grew up in a Christian home from 0 to 17, right? Then did away with Christianity entirely. I just didn't, I mainly didn't like church. I didn't like the idea of going to church. And what I found really, I was always one foot in, one foot out with religion, right? And it was always like, I love singing the songs. That's all fantastic,
love
right?
it.
And I was funny. I just got back from Denmark, and I was visiting an exchange student that lived with me and my family for about 8 months when I was 10 years old, and he was 17. So now I'm 25, and he's like 31, right? So we got like this huge age gap. We're now like fully grown, like adult men. But like talking about like what it was like when we were basically children, and he was like, my favorite part about going to church, right? And he's homosexual, so he was very scared to go to church. He wasn't out at the time, but he was still very scared that people were going to find out, like, oh my goodness, like they're going to stone me or whatever. And he's also from an island off the coast of Denmark called the Faroe Islands. Have you heard of the Faroe Islands?
Heard of, yeah.
Okay, imagine like the most smallest rural area of England is there on an island.
Right, okay.
Okay, and then you end up in New Zealand, right? With this weird family, because my family's a bit weird, and they drag you along to a church that you've never been to church in your life, and you're very scared about what church people might do to gay people, right? Then he gets there, and like we went to like Pentecostal church. Have you heard of like Hillsong and like the hardcore like praise and worship? It's like a fucking rock concert like every week. It's like, hey God, how's he doing? And like everyone's like strumming the guitar and they're like yelling and screaming and shit. Yeah. So he was like, this is so fun. Like the songs are amazing. Yeah. I loved like standing in front of church and like being prayed for and like the energy that I would feel when the attention was on me. I really enjoyed that, right? So I was like, Maisy, I'm prophesying over you now that God's going to give you power and all this. And I'm like, clap my hands, and you're getting pumped up. You're getting full of beams, right? Feeling great because all the attention's on you. For sitting there and listening to them read from the Bible, dead boring, right? And the before and after church, where everyone would sort of swan around and talk about how great their lives and how holy they were, I hated it because I would see these people Monday to Saturday, and they would be a completely different person who then they pretended to be on the Sunday morning. And I'd be like, what is up with these people? I can't handle these fake fucking idiots. So I was like, I'm done with it. I'm done with church, right? And then recently, Hazel is a religious studies teacher. Been researching a lot about religion, looking at different religions and what we like from this one and what we like from this one, and researching Islam and Muslim as a religion. And one thing I really like about it is you don't have to give any money to the church, right? And that's the one vice I had with Christianity is like they would take a direct debit out of my parents' pay every fortnight and just give it to the church. Like before you'd even seen the money, bang, the church has got your money. And I'm just like, ugh. And what's the church giving us? Do you know what I mean? Because that money's not going to God, is it? God's all set. He's all G. This is going in a man's pocket so he can keep bringing in more men to pay him more money so he can keep building the church. So I like the idea of the Islamic religion where it's just you and God, and you live by these rules, and as long as you do them, God's happy, you're happy, you live a great life, happy days. But it then allows you the opportunity to give something over to God, but also teaches you the patience when it comes to giving something over to God. And I think that's what you were missing when you were a child. But do you think you could end up getting back to a point where you might be interested in religion?
I mean, probably. I mean, I'm quite easily influenced, like on my opinion and stuff. Like I think I am. I mean, that's changed as I've grown up, so maybe not as much now. But when I was very religious, I was in primary school. I had to be there 9 till 3 every day. Yeah. So you're constantly surrounded by that, and that's probably why I was so religious as a child. It is everyone around you is religious. You're constantly practicing the religion through your classes and whatever, and your assemblies, your singing, and I love that side of things. And I think as a child, I wasn't aware of how many issues were within, like the church and stuff, and within religion. So I was very easily influenced in that sense.
Do you think it's similar to the accent thing? Like the longer you speak to somebody, you start doing their accent. You're just a creature of environment. Like if we put you in Spain, you'd probably pick up Spanish really quick.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I found it really hard to learn languages before, but maybe I could.
Go to Spain.
Again, if you're just put in that situation,
yeah. You're very adaptable.
Yeah, I think so.
Good quality to have that.
Yeah, I think it's like moving to Manchester. I've never lived alone, obviously, before, and I just, after a week, it was like I'd always done it. Do you know? And I don't. I'm quite good in new situations, and I have to get into them quite quickly. Yeah. Like I hate being in a certain place for a long time. It's like I think 3 years of university is just enough to sort of be like, okay, I want something new now. I want to move on to something else now.
So have you finished university now?
No, I finish in May.
Right, okay.
But I am getting to the point where I'm like, what's next?
Do you know what is next?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew.
What do you want it to be though?
So the point I'm at the moment is I never know what area of performance I want to go into. I've tried so many and I've loved them all that I'm sort of like, I just want to be performing. Yeah. Like I tried comedy, loved it, and I thought it was massively for me, and so did other people, and that sort of made my head go, whoo, and that's why I carried on doing it for a while. Yeah. But as that pattered out a little bit and I had to focus on uni a bit more, I'm having a bit of a realization at the moment that it's not what I want to do forever. Okay. Like I don't think I have. If I was massively bothered about doing stand-up for the rest of my life, I would be putting a lot more effort in, and I would be using this circuit a lot more. Yeah. But I've realised I'm not. And it's not even on purpose, I'm just not doing it. Mm-hmm. Like most gigs I've had recently have all been people have asked me to do them, so I've just gone and done them, or I've been running them through the Comedy Society, so I've had to do them. Yeah. And I like doing it, I enjoy the gigs I do, but it's not something I want to try and kill myself doing every night. Do you know what I mean? Your
attitude to comedy is the exact attitude I had almost the day I got into comedy. I was like, I don't want to do this. I literally just wanted friends. That's all I wanted. Because I didn't know anybody here. And I came here thinking I was going to work for the BBC. And I definitely don't work for the BBC. Yeah. And I was very lonely and sad.
It's very much a connections thing for me.
Absolutely.
The first gig I did was through the Comedy Society, not when I was running it, the first year. And everyone was like, Maisy, just do a fucking gig, because I was telling stories constantly anyway,
Yeah.
disrupting the the group or whatever. They were like, do it on stage, please. So I did, and a lot of the room was people from the society and people I knew, and some of it was acts from the circuit.
Yeah.
And obviously I had no concept of what the comedy circuit was at this point.
Do you remember who the acts were?
Yeah, I know 3 of them were Barry Heap,
Yeah.
Ash Preston,
Okay.
and Howard Anstock.
Interesting.
Yeah, they were all there. They were on the gig. And afterwards, I came out and I was chatting to them, and they were like, "Oh, so how long have you been going?" And I was like, "That was my first gig." And they were like, "Fuck off. That wasn't you." What? And that for me kind of went, "Oh, maybe this is something I can do.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll carry this on." And I developed my set. Went to Edinburgh that year. Developed it more there. Came back, and between September and December of that year, I did so many gigs in Manchester.
Yeah.
I was gigging a lot. You'll know that was the time.
I was there. I seen it.
Yeah. And then it pattered out again because I had this lull after Christmas. Every year I've had it since I've been at uni, where I just feel like shit and I don't really want to do it anymore. I don't want to do anything anymore. I don't know why.
You're like
It's
the
just
opposite of a
Christmas
New
thing.
Year's resolution.
Yeah.
You have a New Year's depression.
But weirdly, 2018, the year that I started comedy,
Yeah.
was the best year of my life.
That's good.
Because I read a book.
You met Matt Shaw.
Yes. But another bit of my show, I'm just promoting my show here, to be honest. No, another bit of my show was that I had this lull at the start of 2018 where I felt like shit again.
Yeah.
And I read this book called, I think it's called You Are a Badass.
Okay.
I listened to it on audio tape.
Who reads these days?
Yeah.
Come on.
Who's got time?
That's why Jesus gave us Audible.
Exactly. Almost got me run over by a tram, but it was a good book.
Yeah, good.
And this woman reading it, she was like an American woman, and she's great. She just, I don't know, I just have to listen to her voice.
And it's called Be a Boss?
You Are a Badass.
You Are a Badass.
And she gave me a quote. She said this quote in this book, and I was like, fucking yeah. I'd never liked quotes really before, but this one hit me. Right? It was, you are the only you there is and ever will be. Do not deny the world its one and only chance to bask in your brilliance. That's a fucking good quote, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I then decided to repeat that quote to myself and everyone that would listen. And that's when I tried comedy. I went to Edinburgh. I did loads more gigs. I smashed that year at uni. I made loads of friends. I was out all the time. Best year of my life because I just... Do you know what I mean? I just decided to have a good year.
So what happened 2019 in this year?
I had that lull again after Christmas because you have like a full month off uni.
Yeah.
Where you sort of... It's hard to go home. As much as I love being at home, it's hard to go home and not have all these gigs and all these people that are here that I've sort of established not a second life with, but a more active life with here. Yeah. So that was weird for me. It was like I could see it all on social media. I could see everyone gigging. I could see everyone having this great time.
Is it because going home to be with your
here.
parents is like so boring and uneventful, but also so lovely in the fact that you get to see your family?
It's not, I mean, I wouldn't say it was even boring and uneventful, but they still had work and lives there that it was almost as if I wasn't part of them anymore. Like I was. It was very much like me making it up in my head, but I didn't have as much to do there anymore, and like they didn't understand. So if I talk to family about stuff I'm doing here, they're like, I have to explain it all and like, you know, go into the details of it, and when I just want to tell them the story, but they don't know because they're not part of it over here. Do you know? So yeah, I had this lull again. I mean, 2019's still been a really good year, and when I look back on it, I remember all the things that have been amazing about it, but it just didn't. I didn't shoot in the industry as much as I did in 2018. So when I started comedy, I met all these new people. I did so many gigs. I was being put on these bills. I was going up fairly quickly. Whereas when you've sort of done a year of comedy, it stops being quite as exciting. I think
the interest wanes.
Yeah, it does,
quickly.
and I think that was sort of to me a sign that I didn't like it as much as I thought I did. I quite liked the attention for 10 minutes. Do you know? And it was something I could do. But now I see it as more of a way of getting my name out there and getting to know people. And like I went to the Carolina Hearn bursary.
Nope.
It's a bursary that people win. Amy Gledhill won it last year.
Okay.
Sophie Willan the year before. and you basically work with the head of the BBC comedy to create a sitcom.
Wow.
And you get given all the money and stuff and whatever to do what you want with it, but you have to send in a video, and it's in the name of Caroline Aherne, who like wrote The Royal Family and was in it and everything.
Okay. I've never heard of any of these people, but again,
amazing.
I'm not, but it's
well,
fine.
they're big in Manchester.
Yeah. People that know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. So I went to this sort of talk, and the head of the BBC was there, and Amy Gledhill was there, and I knew pretty much everyone in that room.
Okay.
From different areas of comedy in the industry that I just made sure I'd introduce myself to.
Yeah.
And it felt really good to be in a room with people and them all to know me in a way, because I had just put myself out there and chatted to them all in different situations.
Yeah.
Like one of them I knew because she put on a sketch writing workshop and me and one other person went.
Yeah.
One of them I knew because she interviewed me for her dissertation, which was Annabelle.
Debbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who recognised me in Edinburgh because she was leafleting for someone who was in the same venue as Soul Funny, which was anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like all these people I just sort of said yes to these opportunities and just gone to, and I love that. Like I love networking, and I mean that's probably how I get as far as I do in certain things, is because I'm very good at talking to people. And just
So I don't feel like I've seen you do a gig in maybe 12 months, but everyone still knows who you are.
Yeah.
Like I said, who's on the podcast this week? I'm Maisy Whipp. Oh, where's she been? I'm like, I don't know. We're going to find out.
I mean, this is it. So she introduced me to her friend when I saw her there, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, I think I saw you at Frog and Bucket.
Yeah.
I've done Frog and Bucket 3 times maybe in my life."
Yeah.
But he knew me from that.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I love leaving an impression on people.
I think it's the surname. To be honest with you.
Thanks, Dad.
I think it's the surname. It's Whip. I thought it was a stage name. Legit, I thought it was a stage name. I was like,
it's all real.
It's the most like endearing surname ever, and I think because it's short as well.
Yeah.
Like although Shaw is pretty boring, like I feel like the name Maddie Shaw is like
remember it.
You remember it. It's so small, right? But like for example, there's other people that are just so forgettable. And maybe it's partly to do with us, but I think having a good, succinct, easy to remember name
it
really
does help.
helps.
It helps. But this is like another thing I tried to do a lot when I was starting out, is I tried to do everything pink. So like my hair was pink.
Was it?
Yeah, I did a lot of pink eyeshadow. I wore a lot of pink clothing. You might not have noticed these things, but that's sort of that's
I'm
in my head.
colourblind though, so if you were trying to get to me with colours, it probably didn't work.
I mean, I think it was just in general. I was trying to set up a brand for myself.
Okay.
I think, like Whiplash Comedy.
Yeah.
2 P's because it's my name.
Yeah.
Obviously, and it's a pink logo. So like that was another thing that sort of I would hope made people think, oh, this is Maisy Whipp because it's pink and it's Whip. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I very much believe in like trying to get a brand for yourself and like do it that way. I also tried putting on my own comedy nights, which seemed like a natural thing for me because again, the motherly thing of putting things on and like, you know, getting people.
And you're a good organiser.
I try to be, yeah.
You had a bit of a bad run with some gigs, didn't you?
Not massively a bad run of them. They were just, I don't think the venue was the right place for it.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Like, I think
it's working with people. I mean, working with people outside of comedy, you have to be very much like, it needs to be this, this, and this. Yeah. Because they don't understand it. Like, a lot of people contact the Comedy Society and say, can we have a comedian for an hour, please, for free? And I'm like, even the best comedians within the society don't have an hour and won't do it for free. Like, this isn't me being rude, but no.
Yeah, I'll let them have an hour of experience for me. Okay, best of luck to you. I had a woman in Belfast. This is before we wrap up, and she goes, "I just want a comedian, like while people are getting their food served, just to do like an hour of comedy, like while people wait for the dinner to come out." And I said, Tanya, let me tell you one thing. Firstly, that's not happening. I was like, secondly, what's your budget? And she said a very low number. It wasn't 0, but it was a low number for what she was asking for. And I said, there's no comedian that can do an hour. That's right. So there's no comedian that wants to do an hour while people are getting served food. Point 1. There's no comedian that can do an hour for that price. And the fact that you're in Belfast as well, obviously another issue. But I said, let me see what I can do. And I haven't been able to do a lot. This has just made me think of it. So you listen to this, Tanya. I don't think it's a goer. Up your budget. It's fucked, man. This industry is a fucking mess.
It's the amount of people that don't have an MC either, or they don't think they need an MC.
What?
For events. I got asked to do an event, asked me to provide a couple of like comedians for an event, and I was like, yeah, sure. They were going to have music, a magician, comedians, and no MC. And I was just like, oh, okay, let's have a meeting. We'll sort this out.
Did you sort it? Did you get it?
I think
sorted?
I MC'd it, yeah.
Good.
I can't remember. But
Did you get paid?
Probably not.
You need to get paid, Maisy. You need to get paid. But thank you so much for coming. We've done over an hour. You smashed it. We've done it.
Oh, cool.
It's over.
Nice
you
one.
did the Giggle Gang podcast before the Giggle Gang man himself leaves the country.
Nice.
People are like messaging me being like, oh my god, can I get on before you go? And I was like, you've never taken an interest. Like, up until there's a
I bloody love
possibility.
listening to it as well.
I'm like, oh my god, what one's been your favourite? Now I'll put you on the spot.
I
think I know what one you're going to say. It's one of my favourites as well.
Oh, I'm not sure. I listen to loads. I just really like listening to him.
But who's your favourite?
I can't remember.
Please.
I can't. Wait, can I check which ones I've downloaded? On my podcast app.
Hang on.
And maybe I can be like, oh, actually, yeah, I really enjoyed that
While
one.
Maisy checks that, I'm just going to give you a quote about MCs. For those that are looking for MCs, my beautiful friend Rahul Kohli said to me, I'm the best MC that you don't have to pay for. But I do definitely want to get paid if you are looking for MCs. But if it's a free gig and I like the lineup, maybe I'll come and do it. I'm not even a real comedian anymore. I don't think. I just think I'm an MC, possibly. Are you making it up? You didn't even have any downloads.
I did. I had like 10, but I was like, I think I'm like, I like Dave Borden's one. That was a good one.
Borden.
He's just brilliant, though, isn't he?
Isn't he wonderful?
Such a good comedian.
Happy 2-year anniversary, Dave.
Oh yeah.
I met Dave at his very first gig. It was it was this time 2 years ago that we both started together.
Oh.
So actually no, it might have been my first gig, not his. It might have been his like third or fourth, but definitely early doors. Me and Dave. Dan Baines was there as well. He's chopped off now. Never mind. Best of luck, Dan. Right, Maisy, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Anything you want to promote? Too late.
Yeah, no, I don't think I do.